Mediums, the intermediary between the spirit world and the living, the past and the future. Meet Paul, a true medium exploring the minds of others.
When I woke up into this, I got a series of letters. The series of letters were URA, THS, PKW. So I'll just explain you what it is. So the first one is understanding, realization, acceptance, trust, honesty, serenity, patience, knowledge, and wisdom. So what I realized was that when they showed me these letters, it's something that each person, each human being has to pass through in their life. You have to have understanding, you have to have realization, you have to have acceptance for things in life. You have to have trust, you have to have honesty, and then you produce serenity. That's what everybody looks for, peace in their life. And then the other thing that unlocks the PKW, patience. This is what we always practice each day. We are beings that need to work on patience. And when you work on your patience, you see your true knowledge and you open up into your wisdom. So when they gave me that, they said, well, this is what you're going to be teaching, but then they kept showing me THS over and over. And a small story to talk about THS, when I was 14 years old, I carved it into the door of my parents' garage door. Not knowing why I carved it, I just like, okay, I'm THS. I'm like, what is this? Okay, no idea, just left it like that. Years later, now I know why. And THS was trying to tell me, or what they were trying to tell me about THS was the human shift on the planet. And this is what everybody's starting to realize right now, that there's a shift in human consciousness. Things are changing. People are thinking differently. People are going more deep within. Like right now, you're seeing more shows on meditation, inner peace, mindfulness. And that's all about the human shift, moving from one consciousness to another. And then with these series of letters, it helps people transition through this shift of consciousness a lot easier. And within the shift, it says the human shift is happening. It unlocks the higher self. And the higher self is in a dimension that's around you. So talking about dimensions, so we are beings that live in a 3D dimensional world. Fourth dimension is using your higher self, your higher consciousness, and bringing it in. And then there's multiple dimensions. You know, they talk about fifth dimension, sixth dimension, seventh dimension. What really that is just extracting information from higher levels of consciousness that you can go to, you can attain within yourself with having patience. And having patience and doing meditation and going more deep within inside yourself. And that's how I was able to put together what the THS meant. And the other thing it also meant was the heart speaks. And that's what everybody's speaking with right now, the heart. Everybody's saying, okay, I gotta be more heartful, I gotta be more mindful. It's really going into the heart center. And that's also going in within a dimension within yourself. And even the scientists today are starting to realize that the heart is a multidimensional mechanism within ourselves that we're able to attain these other levels with meditation again and deep focus. The dimensions are really levels of consciousness that we can all attain. So the fourth dimension, fifth dimension. So we're 3D beings living in a fourth dimensional world. So 3D dimension means that you're living your physical world, everything's physical. This is what you see, it's your logic and how you determine things in life. Fourth dimension is more of, you're going more, I'll even use it, fourth dimension is using your intuition. You're using that higher part of you, that feeling that you don't know what you're getting the information from, but you know it's guided information. You know it's good information within you. And that's into fourth dimension. And you go on so forth in fifth and sixth and seventh. When you're here on the planet and you die, you detach from your physical body. And when you detach from your physical body, you go to right away, as soon as you detach, it's all darkness, it's all black. And that could be scary. But what I've been told from the other side is that it goes black, but you also hear a little music, a little light music, like a violin almost, like a light piano, angelic voices. And that kind of keeps you kind of stabilized. And then after the light opens, or they say a tunnel, and you see a light, and you get shot into it at the speed of light, into this tunnel, and then you're into, well, what we call heaven. That dimension, if you want to call it, would be the seventh dimension, or seventh level of existence or reality. And from there, you transition from, you meet everybody that you know, you meet everybody that you've known on this planet, You meet people from past lives that you've known from other past lives. And also you go to your soul group. So then you transition to another part, and that's another dimension within that dimension. So, and it keeps going and going. And there's about, I would say, that I know of, when I woke up, there's 12 dimensions. So we're always pulling off these dimensions, multiple dimensions. We're always pulling off information from these levels of consciousness, non-stop, pulling, and adding it on. And the more that you wake up into this, you can start realizing, wow, I actually have help around me. I can actually get this information by just doing more meditation, more focused thinking, looking within, getting rid of the mind, the ego, and going into that more heartfelt space. Your higher self is an extension of the creator, of all that is. So all that is in every single dimension. It's in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and so forth. And I've heard there's 24 dimensions even. So all that is, that's what I call God, living conscious energy. All that is exists in all the dimensions. Your higher self is part of that God state. And it's multifaceted. So basically, your higher self is controlling your physical body right now, your physical body on another planet. You might have one interdimensional Earth inside. So it's controlling every single part of you. So it's the higher self is your extension of God, basically. Your God within. However you want to call it, however you want to name it, that's the higher self of you. So we use time to basically use time on this dimensional field to kind of use it as coordinates, kind of direct us into certain places. Okay, well, I got to be here at 1 o'clock, I got to be here at 2 o'clock. But what I try and bring to people is that when you're in a happy moment, when you're super happy, you're having fun with your friends, you show up at a party for 1 o'clock, you're laughing your head off. As soon as you get there, talking, having some drinks, great conversation, and you look at time, my God, it's already 4 o'clock. What had just happened? Well, time didn't exist. Right there, time literally detached from your consciousness. It's the human beings that create time as a consciousness. We create it. And really, you got to detach time from your consciousness. Time doesn't exist anymore. Everything's free flowing because you don't calculate time when you're happy, when you're having a beautiful moment. Time doesn't exist. You're like, wait, where did time go? Somebody's having a miserable moment. Every single second counts. So that's one way we can say how time doesn't exist. Really, we put time on consciousness, but really, time doesn't exist.
For more reality shows, visit YaMediaTV.com.